I'm Chantal, Director of Membership Services at St. Joseph Media. Nice to see you all here this morning. We are happy to have you all here for another virtual TL Talent workshop. TL Talent offers innovative workshops about entrepreneurship, marketing, business development, and more, led by leading executives and city builders in Toronto. Here are some quick housekeeping rules. Please make sure to keep your mics and videos turned off until the very end of the event for a Q&A session. But please feel free to ask any questions you may have throughout the event in the chat box at the bottom of your screen. I'd like to introduce Tanya Hoshi, producer at Shopify and co-founder of the apparel brand Dhansak Co. Today's workshop will be focused on how to create an online store using Shopify from home. Thank you so much for your time, Tanya, and take it away.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really excited to just share with everybody kind of cool ways you can use Shopify to start your own online business. I'm just going to quickly share my screen and we'll get started. All right. So you're probably here today because you want to start your own first online business, or you're just curious about some e-commerce opportunities out there, or you probably saw Shopify in the news very recently. So when I explained Shopify, it's taken me 3 years since my time there to really get a better sense of how to explain to people what Shopify is. And I think we're often really misunderstood as a company. People often confuse us, for example, with Spotify, very common, also with Amazon as well. So just to be clear, we're not a consumer brand and we're not a marketplace either. So you don't go to Shopify, for example, to purchase something. We are instead, I'd call us the brand behind the brand. So we're virtually we're basically invisible to any consumer out there. So what Shopify is we're the world's first retail operating system. And at a basic level, when I try to explain to friends what we are, Shopify just helps you sell stuff online. It streamlines all the logistical stuff that can be intimidating and time consuming to a small business owner who's just looking to sell online. And it allows users to build an online website through which you can host products and services for sale. So with Shopify, you can build an e-commerce store without needing to know how to build a website. Or our pre-built free themes allow you to customize your website with just a few clicks. So someone like me who has absolutely no web design experience can create something, and it makes it really easy to do so, and you don't have to have any knowledge on web design and coding, etc. So here's kind of like what our backend looks like when you go in, and we do have, step-by-step guidance to kind of help you, set up your domain name, customize your website, and then we kind of go through how to set up your products, how to set up your orders, do marketing, if you want to give discounts, gift cards. It's all in there step-by-step, so it's really user-friendly. It's really beginner-friendly as well. Some examples of things you can do with Shopify is obviously build your website. You can also create product listings. You can optimize your store for SEO, which is search engine optimization. You can set up a shopping cart so your customers can come to your website and actually purchase items. We also set up a credit card transaction so the customers can actually pay, and then the money goes to you as well. Collect sales tax automatically, which is amazing. We manage fulfillment, offer discount codes, sales coupons, gift cards. And as well, the one cool thing about Shopify is when you go into your dashboard, you can see on the left-hand side that it says analytics. We actually offer analytic reports. So you can see, what products are selling well, how many customers are coming to your website every day. So you can kind of get a sense of where your customer's coming from, who you should be targeting, what products are doing really well. So you can put more marketing spend on those instead. So it's really great that you have that analytics report there. Another thing about Shopify, we're an entirely Canadian company with majority of our offices and employees here in Canada. Some big names that you'll recognize that use Shopify for their stores are Kylie Cosmetics, Gymshark, Bombas Socks, Staples, to name a few. And with Shopify, you can not only create your own website, add products, and execute marketing campaigns, you can also have these products to either sell in your home, or you don't even have to have any inventory at all. And that's something I'll be going over today, is different types of businesses you can have where either you create your own products and have them at home and then you ship them out, or you don't have to have a product at all. And it could be a product that someone else has made that's somewhere else and it's with a supplier, and then you can choose to market that on your store and sell that instead. Last thing I'll just quickly go over is that we have over 1 million merchants around the globe who use Shopify to run their business. And I would love to kind of share with you a short video that my team has made that compiles clips from some of our many small to medium Shopify merchants who we filmed over the past 3 years.
I can't describe it, but there's something beautiful about making things. We need to know where stuff is from. We need to know who made it.
I didn't start a business to start a fashion label. I created Vote to make as big of an impact as possible.
A company should play an important role in society. Otherwise, we just dump it. It's just trash. But it's not trash, man. It's just treasures for us. I've been better at being an artist than I have been at being a business person.
We're on the rocket ship. We're astronauts in training, getting ready to fly off this earth.
We are here to kind of explore women, beauty, business, entrepreneurship.
That freaking beauty.
I still smell like butter.
I smell like a bakery.
Now, before we do leave, I have a simple question. Is anyone on board? This is your first time in QS.
To make a product that you can put a stamp on it and say, it's original. We make it here. You can't get it anywhere else.
I was very happy with what I was doing, but something was not happy within me.
I was really caring about like making money instantly. I would have had a normal job.
If you're only here once, I for one don't want to spend that doing things that I don't want to do.
It's just, it's really overwhelming.
We were looking for a place like Steeltown Garage Co. to go to ourselves, and it wasn't here. So we thought, well, let's just make it.
10 years ago, it was so hard to do the same thing. And today, anyone can open a business. You might fail, but you won't regret it.
So I joined Shopify back in March of 2017, and I was hired as part of a brand new team that we had at Shopify called Shopify Studios that exists to this day. And our mission is to essentially create stories, tell stories about entrepreneurs around the world in order to inspire entrepreneurship. We want people to see everyday small to business size business owners and kind of be able to relate to them, because I think in popular culture, you normally see the billionaires, you know, those big name entrepreneurs, and it's really hard to relate to them. And we want them to see, we want the world to essentially see that we have everyday business owners that, you know, just came from an idea, didn't necessarily have anything handed down to them. They just went out there and explored that idea and managed to get people to invest in it. So that's essentially why our team exists, is to hopefully inspire entrepreneurship in others who potentially never considered that as a viable path for their own career. And when I joined, you know, I have a background in filmmaking. I have absolutely no background in entrepreneurship, in sales, in business. So I never considered myself necessarily to become an entrepreneur down the road. But after meeting all these merchants, you know, and telling their stories, it finally clicked with me that why can't I do this too? I love the fact that someone can take an idea and have ownership over it, have others invest in it, have, you know, build a community around it, and also create their own source of living with it. I was absolutely inspired. And what I decided to do is, you know, come up with an idea myself that I can invest in, that I could also create a business around. And for me, I targeted a niche, a market, which was my own community, my own cultural community, and created a streetwear brand around it that could feature our logo, our not only our logo, but our like inside cultural lingo and designs. And one thing led to another, and we eventually ended up having a really great following and ended up being featured on Parsi Times, which is our largest newspaper in our community. And it just started with an idea, and it only happened within a few months. I mean, I came up with the idea last January, launched it in August, and luckily we've been really successful, had really great sales, and it's a nice side business for me to have to kind of learn from. And I've made mistakes here and there, of course, but I think the fact that I went out there and did it, I was able to finally understand more about how Shopify works, how entrepreneurship works, and why people do this in the first place. And I think if had I not done that, I don't think I'd be here today also kind of explaining to you guys why I think it's such a great thing to kind of invest in a business of your own. So today I'm just going to go over a few online business ideas that you can consider at this time. I know that right now, millions of people today are unemployed due to COVID-19, but businesses are finding silver linings by adopting and thriving online. Shopify specifically has grown during this time, which is a unique circumstance on its own. And I think that's because many people are now moving their businesses online. And also a lot of people are shopping online as well out of necessity. So Shopify is currently assisting by offering contactless payments for debit and credit cards for our business owners. We also offer curbside pickup options and gift cards. And also one thing that you guys can walk away with today is that we do have a 90-day free trial. So if you want to go ahead and just start something and take a go at it, it's 90 days free. So it's absolutely low cost upfront. Might as well go and try some ideas out and see if they work. Also, I just want to say that there has never been a better time than now to have a business online. And it's important to think about what version of an online business could be for you. I'm going to go over 4 specific online business ideas. They're not all of them, but I think they're 4 that are worth kind of trying, especially if this is your first time creating your own online business. So I'll start with going over the most popular type, which is called drop shipping. You may or may not have heard about it. So drop shipping is worth considering if you're starting with a very tight budget. It can help you quickly test and validate different ideas that you have with limited downside. So the drop shipping model is pretty simple. You have no inventory. You don't do any of the printing, packaging, and shipping for the products you're selling. Very low cost to start. You don't need to conceptualize or design the product. You literally don't even have it in your hands or at your home. And the entire business can be run online. So what you do is you will go inside, for example, at Shopify, we have an app called Oberlo. It'll be connected to your Shopify and you'll browse categories for products you want to sell on your website. Maybe you're interested in home and garden. Right now, a lot of people are gardening with the time that they might have at home. So that's potentially a great industry to go into. So you'll click on home and garden, and then you'll be given thousands and thousands of products. So you can filter through what you specifically want to order, place on your website. And if you go further in, you can even look at reviews for those products because every product is distributed by different suppliers. So you just want to make sure it's a good product. I highly recommend even ordering supplies and checking it on your end before you start selling it to people because customer service is all done on your end. So if someone's not happy with their product, you're going to have to deal with that. So just make sure you order samples, check out the reviews, make sure it's coming from a really good supplier, but it's also a good product that you can vouch for. And then you'll host it on your website. And if a customer comes and purchases it, so we'll go back here, the money goes to you, and also the cost of the product will go to your supplier who will actually deliver it to the customer. So you're just doing the marketing and the customer service, and then the supplier will do absolutely everything else. So you don't have to have all these gardening supplies at home. They'll be with your supplier. You just have to make sure that you can create a website that looks professional, that when people come on it specifically for gardening items, then they're going to trust you that you're a legit supplier and they will purchase it from you. So that's essentially like a really rough explanation of what drop shipping is. And I'll go over some different resources that give you a bit more of a thorough explanation. So one thing is going to shopify.com/courses dropship. We have this really great 45-minute webinar that you can just get a better understanding of how drop shipping works. And we also have Oberlo.com, and I highly, highly recommend subscribing to their newsletter. It's the only newsletter I actually subscribe to. Like I went out of my way to subscribe to because they give the best tips and tricks for drop shipping. For example, I think just recently they sent out a newsletter that said, 12 products that are selling really well right now. And that will kind of give you a sense of where to start, what products you should probably target and build your website around. Great. Next one I'm going to talk about is print on demand. So this is suited for designers and those who want to creatively flex. It's similar to drop shipping. However, unlike drop shipping, the focus is on customizing these products with your own original designs. So now the only thing I have in common with like famous influencers like Addison Rae from TikTok and David Dobrik from YouTube is that we all have print on demand for our merchandise. So you can see the merchandise at the top is from my own store. So with print on demand, you can basically you take designs that you have created or someone else has created for you, and you put them on merchandise such as t-shirts, hats, phone cases, umbrellas, tote bags, and so on and so forth. Really, the items are endless. You'll just have to go through a supplier who provides that item you want to put your design on. With the upside to print on demand is that you can create a product that isn't selling well and you haven't even lost any money considering you haven't paid for this product as yet. So just like drop shipping, you don't pay for the product until someone purchases it from you. How it works is you go inside Shopify, you'll add a print-on-demand app to your Shopify admin. Adding this app is equivalent of essentially adding a supplier whose products you will place your designs on, and they'll be the ones to ship it out. So here's an example of what the backend can look like. So when you sign up for your 90-day free trial, you can go into the app store that we have, and you'll click on print on demand. So here you can see we have 67 different options for suppliers you can add. Personally, I just chose Printful. They had the items I wanted. I really like them. They have really good reviews. And I put all my designs on their t-shirts, on phone cases, and etc. And then they do all the fulfillment for me when I make a sale. So here's, again, when you go inside Printful, this is just an example from Printful, but it could be for any other supplier, is you just drop your design on the product. You can choose which colors you want to provide to your customers. So I've limited it. I haven't put all my designs for every color because some of the colors just don't work well with them. You can choose either printing or it can be embroidery as well. And then it'll tell you where it can possibly ship to. So one thing I just want to quickly show is a short video that just has me explaining how print on demand made it easy for me to start my first online business, and it just shows you a bit of the back end.
I created some t-shirt designs that I wanted to wear, like this one. When people saw them, they asked me how they could buy them. I had no idea how to sell anything online, but thanks to Shopify, that's now a reality. I'm Tanya, I'm the co-founder of Dhansak Co. Setting up my online store only took a few clicks. Shopify makes it easy for people like me with absolutely no web design experience to create a website and online products. Shopify also integrated my store with a supplier that prints, packages, and ships my t-shirts on my behalf, so I don't have to. That's amazing. All I have to do is upload my designs, market them, and when I get a sale, everything else is automatically taken care of. Now I have customers around the world, and it all started with just an idea.
So I'm very lucky that my co-founder is a graphic designer. So working with her, I was able to create the designs we needed to put into our store. But a lot of people might not have, design skills or might not have access to, a friend who is a graphic designer to work on their business with them. So I'm going to give you two options that you can consider. One is just creating your own designs, and it's actually pretty easy to do when you can go to something like creativemarket.com and purchase existing graphic designs. Now, these artists offer licenses for you to purchase. So this one, I just picked this as an example, is like a cute little hiking theme. The commercial license for it is $17. And with $17, you can sell up to 5,000 of any merchandise with their designs on it. So essentially with the first sale, you could probably get the cost of the license right back. And then you can take their designs and play around with it. And you can, create postcards, posters, or put it on merchandise like this cute little baby onesie. It's really limitless what you can do with it. You just take the design and put it on whatever you want to sell, and then you have to put that on your website and convince people to purchase it. Another option is basically hiring a freelancer to create these designs for you for a cost. So if you have an idea you don't know how to create yourself, you can go to places like Fiverr. There's different websites as well, such as Upwork, Dribble, or 99 Designs. You can really go online and find different types of freelancers, and they'll create your design for you for a pretty cheap cost. So here you'll see they'll make it for $29. Take that design, put it on your merchandise, sell it, and again, you'll get the cost of the investment back right away. Another business type that a lot of people do is they make a product. It could be goods, it could be food, it could be candles. It's really limitless what you're creating, and you own the inventory on your end, and then you ship it out. And that's another kind of viable business model to have online. With making a product, what's nice about it is you have a greater sense of ownership, and you ultimately own the quality check. It's on your end. You've made it. You can vouch for it. And then you can also kind of customize your own packaging. So you know everything, how everything looks before it goes out to the customer. You can vouch for that quality. And again, this can be done entirely online. Here are some examples of merchants on Shopify who sell their own handmade products, whether it's candles, it could be cards, it could be apparel. And with Shopify, what's great is because we have so many merchants, we have pre-negotiated shipping rates. So you really get the cheapest shipping rates, and you just print the shipping label from home, put it on your packaging, and you send it off. So it's we've tried to make it as easy as possible for business owners today than it possibly was in the past. We also have warehouses. So we do have fulfillment centers. So if you're selling a lot of a product, you can actually host it in one of our warehouses, and then we'll do the shipping for you. Another idea is a service-based business. Maybe you don't want to sell a product. You don't have one. Maybe you don't want to sell anything that's a physical product itself, but you want to provide a service. Now, the nice thing about services are they are way more simple to sell than any kind of products from home. And an online website is useful to juggle multiple clients remotely. So with service-based businesses, what I'd say is time is money really applies here, because it's important for you to consider how you allocate your time for a service-based business. When you're selling a service, you're being strictly paid for your skills, your time, and your effort. So some examples of service-based businesses on Shopify include classes such as fitness classes, online workshops, which are really popular in the creative field. Like people sell drawing classes, singing classes, for example, as well as coaching and seminars. You can also help alleviate any time issues with this by productizing your service. And like what I mean by that is create physical or digital products that package up your expertise and like maybe even complement the service you offer. So this can include things such as online courses, designs, digital assets, downloadable reports, digital templates, merchandise, or ebooks. So I want to go over some really great Shopify resources we have to help you out, and it's worth looking into, just especially when you're beginning. These are absolutely valuable, especially if you're a first-time entrepreneur. We have something called Shopify Compass. It's a really great way to learn while you build your business. These are free online courses that can help you learn just about anything you need to know if you want to start an online store or any sort of online business. Highly recommend you go this and check this out. Personally, here's some examples of courses on there. My favorite one so far has been Goal Setting with Damon John, and I really recommend it as one of the first courses you do. A lot of people, when they want to start a business for the first time, might have a bunch of ideas but don't know where that's going to lead them to. And his 52-minute course, it's really very short, will help give you a better idea of how to create a pathway for your goals. So that way you're not just giving up when you hit a roadblock, or you don't necessarily know where to start. And a lot of people, I think, fail because they don't have a specific goal in mind. And I think one thing I need to really emphasize is that anybody can do this. You just need to be very clear with what your goals are. And that's how you can kind of steer off and go the right direction. I think a good thing, including in your goals, is just learning more. And with entrepreneurship, there's always so much to learn, and you have to not get overwhelmed by that. Just take it step by step. Start with a small online store, and keep expanding on your knowledge. And Shopify Compass is a really great place to start with that. Another thing we have that's free is our blog. Our blog is absolutely valuable. We have so many up-to-date blogs on different ideas to help you kind of get inspired for starting your own store. So some examples is 14 things to make and sell online. Maybe you want to create a product-based business, but you don't know where to start. Just read some of our blogs and that can give you some inspiration. Same with online food business. The Ultimate Guide will help you actually start off any kind of food-based businesses right away, because there's a lot of legality around selling food. So you can kind of go through this and it'll kind of set you off on the right path. Here's how to write a business plan you'll actually use. I read this. I really love this. It's really important to have any sort of business plan before you start, so that you just have your goals set out and you know why you're doing this and just the steps to take. Another really important thing to know is when you start off with Shopify or any kind of like e-commerce store, you need to have a logo to have on your website. It just makes you look more professional. And we've created something called Hatchful. It's just online for free, and you can create a logo for free. You just hop in and you can kind of give some specifications, write down your name, and they'll like blast off like so many different examples, and you can actually take it for free, and it's your logo. So I highly recommend that if you don't want to create your own or you don't want to hire someone to do it. Another thing you want to make sure to make your website look professional is just having images, stock images on there, so that it can fill it out. If you don't have access to your own camera and you don't have necessarily the time or space to go and do your own pictures for your website, Burst is absolutely free, royalty-free pictures. You can go in there and select by category. For example, if you're selling coffee, there's a lot of great stock images for coffee just to kind of fill out your website and make it look really nice and pretty. And you can really search any kind of product and it's probably there. So I'm just going to kind of end off with a few notes for you guys to consider before you go into, exploring Shopify or even exploring your own online business. Is that Shopify is entirely a personal experience, and I always have to emphasize this because it's not going to be the same for everyone. Every single person who uses Shopify has their own unique, merchant journey, and it has its own sets of ups and downs. So don't try to compare your beginning with someone else's. It is going to be very different. My big thing I hope you all walk away with today is just more confidence in yourself to start your own business, and that you don't need to have a lot of capital to get started. Like I didn't. I started and I probably just bought a domain name and paid for the subscription. That's just about it. I would just love to see more Canadians create businesses during this time specifically that could potentially just become a primary source of your own income. And hopefully even as you grow as an entrepreneur, it could be something that's a full-time gig in the future. I strongly believe that the fabric of our communities is small businesses. So there is a potential for local business to be stronger after this challenging era, and that people will more likely be willing to support local businesses now that they're more aware than ever that the small businesses are powerful and they can deliver products and they can provide really like amazing services that they potentially seeked out once from big retailers. And lastly, the cost of failure is as low as it can possibly be today than it was in the past. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, sure, you can go out, you can study about it, or you can start a side business and just learn from it. And that's what I did. And I've learned so much just from doing rather than, sitting and going to school and learning about it. Although there's nothing wrong with that, and you could go that route, but I highly recommend actually applying yourself and just trying something out. I encourage all of us just to take risks, allow crazy ideas to happen and do things to help people. And something I've learned myself is that even if that idea isn't perfect, just allow it to happen and say yes more. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have about Shopify. It's a lot. I mean, I think 30 minutes is not ever enough to talk about Shopify. There's so much to say about any sort of business. But if you guys have questions about starting your own online business, any questions about Shopify in general, I'm here till for the next, I imagine, quite several minutes to answer those for you.
Thank you, Tanya. That was amazing. I see Jason here has a question already. So he said, I have a product, I have a store. What are the best ways to build awareness for both? What are some marketing best practices that you can share with us?
Sure. One important thing is just knowing who your audience is. I always start there, even with films, actually. It's so related. Entrepreneurship and filmmaking is very similar. You don't make a film until you know who your audience is. You want it to be seen. So if you're going to create a business, just make sure you know who your target audience is, and that'll make it so much easier for you to do any sort of marketing around it, because you're investing in them. You're investing in their emotions. You want to make them invested in your product, and the only way you can do that is by understanding why they want it. Also, in your mind, know what is it that target audience, what problem are they having, and how are you providing a creative solution, and incorporate that into your marketing. Because there's going to be a lot of competitors no matter what industry you go into, but you have to show why your product specifically is unique and solves a specific product for that target audience, and then just create all your marketing around that. Another advice for marketing in general for any product is especially on your social media pages, don't just force always a sale of the product. Build an environment around it, tell stories, or just post some things that are complementary to your business, so that you're engaging your audience and you're not just bombarding them with constant buy this, buy that. Just something to consider.
Okay, great. We have a question from Miriam. Would it be beneficial to create an avatar for our client?
An avatar for your client?
Yeah, I think that's... Miriam, do you want to elaborate? Do you want to come on cam or turn your mic on?
I might need to read this.
Hi there.
Hi.
So I'm in the process of launching a couple of businesses that will be predominantly online. One of them is a retreat business. Meaning I'm going to be hosting retreats, thankfully not this year because of everything that's happening. And the other one is I wanted to start just an online e-commerce store for a second stream of income. One of the things that I did for the retreat business is I created an avatar, which is the ideal perfect client. If I could write my perfect client, this would be it. And I did it based on, a set of interviews. Who are they? What's their biggest fears? What's their biggest problems? What are they trying? What makes them happy? Likes, dislikes, etc. So would it be beneficial to kind of do the same thing for an e-commerce store and figure out exactly who the ideal perfect client is? Because then you can market directly to that client as opposed to doing, broad marketing and hoping that something hits.
I think for me, it makes more sense to have a testimonial within an ideal client. So if you have someone who is your most ideal client that you've had in the past, have them create a testimonial for you and put it on the site.
Okay, okay.
Absolutely valuable. 100% do that, because then whoever comes across your site can then see, oh, I relate to them, and those people are more likely to then purchase whatever you're offering. I highly recommend that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, most welcome, and all the best.
Here's another question. So buying local and reducing your carbon footprint is becoming a lot more important today. Would you say Shopify focuses on local versus global suppliers? And how can you find that list of suppliers and shops within your city or your neighborhood?
Really good question. I know there have been some initiatives done, and I'll have to look into it, but that help you kind of find local suppliers. With Shopify, yes, our focus always is our small to medium businesses, and we're really pushing for more small local businesses to be empowered. And we're offering really great initiatives. Like, for example, with COVID-19, we've really helped our local small businesses still generate revenue and cash flow through gift cards. We're also adjusted our shipping so that curbside delivery is offered. So when someone purchases something, you could even have it so that they can select curbside delivery, and you can go drop it right off, and that shipping money goes to you instead. And I think one thing our COO Harley mentioned is that he really wants to empower local entrepreneurs, but he wants them to think globally as well, right? So always try to think, how can you expand and have global customers while still having a huge presence in your local community? So yeah, I mean, essentially 100%, like our focus really is on our small to medium-sized businesses, the everyday entrepreneurs. We really want to empower them, but we also empower our bigger entrepreneurs as well, the ones who are on Shopify Plus, for example, who have really large revenues, but they're okay, they're doing fine. But I think our energy really goes to the ones who are starting off. We really want to empower our everyday people who have never done this before to go on our platform and start a business and not be overwhelmed by that experience.
Right. Okay. Great. So I have another question. What's the biggest industry you've seen boom during COVID on Shopify?
Really good question. I was actually talking about this the other day because I was like, oh my gosh, so many stores are being made. What are they being made around? Oberlo does a really good job about this, like on their blogs. They go over all these different types of products, but a lot of it is based around the fact that everyone's working from home. So it's things like entertainment, gardening. A lot of people are building like their own at-home gardens right now, like just like any kind of produce. So a lot of sales for like seeds and planting, that's really gone up. I don't remember like all the big ones, but really anything that's around keeping people occupied right now is huge. Puzzles are sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and things like that help people work from home as well. Any kind of product that helps people from work from home has been doing really well.
Okay, awesome. So would it be, here, okay. The platforms that generate creative elements like logos, are these auto-generate solutions better than a real human being designer? That's from Jason.
I always recommend getting an actual designer 100%, but if you don't have necessarily the finances right now, then why not try just having a logo in general? It's better to have something, because then essentially we provided the service so that you can build a professional website for absolutely, the minimal cost possible other than your Shopify subscription. So you want to have a logo, you want it to feel official, you want people to actually trust you before they purchase from you. And I think that's why people always purchase from big brands, because they're so used to it. They understand that they have a trust battery with that company, right? But you want them to trust you as well. They don't know who you are. They don't know the person behind the business. But as long as your website can look professional and the experience of going through it is really great, then they're more likely to buy from you. So have a logo on there. If you can actually get a designer to come and create it for you, I highly recommend that 100%. But if you don't want to necessarily put money into it, then use a free logo. And they look really great as well. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right. Okay, great. What are some of the most interesting small businesses, entrepreneurs you've seen using Shopify?
Oh, so many in Toronto, actually. There's really great like plant merchants who sell plants who have been absolutely amazing. What I love about them is that their social media accounts are just visually very great, but they also provide advice on how to take care of their products. They interact with the customers. They share posts if they tag them. I really love those. There's a lot of great small like gyms and like fitness communities in Toronto who have gone absolutely online now, and they're still, you know, managing to make money, which is great. And a lot of them are hosting not only just free online like Instagram lives to promote themselves, but they're also selling really great online fitness classes so that you don't have to kind of give up on that right now because you can't go to a gym. So I've been really impressed by them. But I mean, it's endless. There's just so many amazing small business owners who have adapted so well during this time. Restaurants, for example, have done really great because a lot of them have decided to take the produce that they have from their suppliers and then provide best groceries instead.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure now with this week, with a ton of businesses reopening, they still have to be pretty creative with their marketing and how they're approaching their business. I think it's just key right now to make sure that everyone's just being as careful as possible. So it'll be really interesting to see what's going to happen within the next couple months.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so impressed by entrepreneurs. They really are resilient, you know, like this is one of the hardest things to ever go through, and they've done a really good job just trying to, you know, pivot and make whatever they can from it, you know, and keep going.
I agree. We have one more question. I don't know if anyone else has more questions if they'd like to ask. Tanya, if you can share with us anything that we can maybe read after this event, let us know if there are any links that we can send everyone post event, because we would love to share that with everyone here.
100%. Yeah, and there's a few links that I've shared that I highly recommend. Again, Shopify Compass being one of the big ones. Go and watch a couple of online classes just to kind of help you get started. And our Shopify blog is absolutely great. It's such a useful tool, and I feel like it's not used enough, but I love reading one every day. And there's just so much there that can kind of get you inspired to start somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, great. So before we create a Shopify shop, do we need to get a company incorporated, get a GST and PST number, etc.?
No, you don't. You can go that route, but you don't need to. No. But I recommend at least getting a domain name. And if you are going to be selling, for example, like your own design, something that you've created, I do recommend, you know, getting registered and just having some sort of copyright claim to those things.
And then I think there's one more. Can you combine types of businesses on one store, i.e. drop shipping and a product?
Yes, 100% you can. You just have to, in the back end, you just have to make sure that whatever's a drop shipping product, when it's purchased, that goes to the supplier. And then whatever's a product is not going to be connected to them anyway. So that money then goes to you, and then you deal with the shipping. But yeah, you can connect different ones.
Okay. And what are some of the challenges you faced when starting your online business that you were able to overcome using Shopify?
The biggest thing I think for me is just payments. That's always been something really intimidating for me. I don't know how to, like, you know, if someone wants to buy something from me, how do I, you know, exchange that money other than just cash or an e-transfer? That I understand. But from my store, I didn't understand that concept. It's just already built into Shopify, so I didn't have to worry about it. I just had to enter my credit card information and it was done. So like when someone purchases a product from me, what I do is I then press capture payment. That money is existing now in my Shopify payments. And then I pay my supplier the cost of the actual product. So say my t-shirt is $20 and the t-shirt only costs $10 to make. I pay my supplier $10 and then I get the $20 9 days later. So it's normally about a 9-day transaction. And that just gives me time in case they wanted a refund. I can just do it and not accept the money on my end. So that was just great that it was all done easily. Like I don't have a business background, you know, I don't know these things. I had no intention of becoming an entrepreneur until I started working here and I started hearing all these merchant stories. So I hopped in and with a couple of clicks, I built a website, which I've never done in my life. And it was super easy. I never had to enter simple word of code in there because I don't know how to do that. And I was able to put really gorgeous pictures up there, you know, type in whatever I needed to. And yeah, it's all easily done. Once you're in the back end, you can see it's easy to add testimonials. It's easy to add pictures, add your products, create collections. You know, if you're selling collections of items, it's so simple to just do that. And different pages as well on your website. It's just clicks and you just type in whatever you need to.
Do you find that sizing, you know, just with apparel in general, that would be difficult to know, like, what's your perfect size? Like, do you have a chart? Like, did you have to build that as well?
For clothing?
Yeah.
It was already built in. So the supplier provides all the sizing guide. See, like that's why I'm like, I'm so happy they thought about all this, so I don't have to. So if a customer comes on my website and wants to buy a t-shirt, the sizing chart's there. The supplier provided that. It's already built into my product description. And they just click and go. Like the only thing that I've done on there is provided like a fun little product description on my own. I'm like, this shirt would look really good if you were wearing it here or something like that. You know, other than that, it's all built in for me.
Right. And you mentioned quality control as well. So you got to maybe touch and feel some of the pieces before you actually put them on your site and sold them.
Yeah. So every supplier offers a really nice discounted rate for samples. So you can order samples, check them out before you start selling it to other people. So we did that because there were some that I was like, oh, okay, this design does not look good on a white shirt at all. So I have to just change it completely. So it's good that we did that ahead of time.
Oh, good. There are a few more questions. So what are the characteristics of stores that use fulfillment? Is this common in Canada at the moment?
Our fulfillment centers are brand new for Shopify specifically. Stores that will use fulfillment, so I'm thinking that's what they're meaning is like using like a warehouse. Normally have a certain amount of sales to warrant the fact that they're going to be paying a warehouse fee, right? So you should be making a certain amount of sales, and you don't want to handle shipping on your end. So it just makes sense to do that. If you have a specific product that you're selling and there's a couple of them, then you'll probably put it in a warehouse. If you have lots, obviously it's going to cost you more, but you're probably making a huge volume of GMV to warrant the costs associated. So that's really, it's normally businesses that are making quite a huge amount of sales.
Right. Okay. How much does it cost to join Shopify?
Good question. We have 3 plans that I'm aware of. So the basic plan is $29 US a month. And then the more advanced you go, the more expensive it gets. There's like a $79 tier and there's a $200 tier. But we also have this new thing. It's I think $9 a month if you just want to sell on Facebook. So we also have that available to you. But again, it's 90 days free right now. So you can try it out and see if you like it. And then you can hop on their most basic plan.
So for basic, does that change the size of your business? Like if you want to go premium, do you have to sell a certain amount of products per month to be part of that tier?
Not necessarily. Anyone can join. It just depends how much support you need on your end. I think some things that change the more advanced you get is like how many staff stores you can have. So how many people can also have access and run your business. So it just, I think naturally, the more sales you're having, the bigger the business becomes, the more likely you are to upgrade.
Okay.
But if you're just starting out, I recommend basic. It has most of everything you need. If you don't need a lot of staff, I think the basic account lets you have 2 anyways. So it's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of international shipping, how are customs and duties for different countries worked out?
So that's a really good question. That's something even I'm kind of going through right now because I think for Canada, we have the worst case scenario, to be honest. It's very expensive to ship in Canada, just within Canada as a business owner. Which is why I did print on demand because a lot of my customers are based in the States and my suppliers also based in the States. So that way they don't get charged any customs fees. And my experience with customs has been hit and miss. Sometimes my Canadian customers get charged customs and sometimes they don't, but that's not something I have to pay as a business owner. It's the end product. So like whoever gets the product, they have to pay for it. And I get that as a consumer. Sometimes I buy a product from some company and I have to pay the customs. They don't. So I think the best thing for you to do as a business owner is to make that very clear in your policy on your website somewhere, especially during checkout, that they're aware. One thing we do help with is you can actually have customs fees built into your shipping rates so that the customer isn't surprised at the end. And that's what I ended up doing is I made it so that any Canadian customer who orders from my website can only pick a specific shipping option. They can't pick the cheapest one, which is like $3 because it doesn't include customs in there. So I always include customs for them. So they're not surprised when they get their product because you don't want them to be, then they get upset and they probably won't ever order from you again.
Yeah, that's good to know. Mm-hmm. If we choose drop shipping and want to go global, how would the shipping work? Because the shipping price for each country differs.
It's normally built in so that whoever's ordering from whatever country, they know how much they need to pay. So it's normally included in it. So if, for example, you're selling your own product, then you're going to have to calculate the shipping costs and include it in there. So if someone from Australia orders your product from Canada, they're paying different than if someone from the US is. But drop shipping, it's normally just included so you don't have to worry about it. Like I don't worry about my shipping rates with Printful, who I'm using for my print on demand, because it's calculated on their end. And depending on where people are ordering from, it's already there. So I don't have to pay for shipping on my end. I hope that helps. But yeah, it's already, if you're doing drop shipping, it's built in, so you don't have to worry.
I think that's it for questions. Tanya, thank you so much. This was so informative. We'd love to share anything that you can share with us post-event. Again, this is recorded as well, so we'll share this link with everyone by the end of the month, along with all our other TL Talent and In Conversation events. So thank you all for joining us so much. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your time, Tanya, and thanks again.
You. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here and listening, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.